Have you ever asked yourself, if I came into this world with nothing, and I'll leave with nothing, then what's the point of all of this? For many of us, that thought feels heavy, like life is some cruel trick, like all of our struggles, our possessions, even our relationships might one day vanish into nothingness, and maybe they will. But what if that isn't a tragedy? What if it's the greatest promise life has ever given us? Because here's the truth. Nothing stays the same. Rivers keep flowing, seasons keep shifting, flowers bloom, and then they wither. Pain comes, and then it fades. And within that constant movement lies a hidden freedom. Today, we're going to dive into a teaching that makes many people uncomfortable. Impermanence, the truth that nothing lasts forever. In Buddhist philosophy, this is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. In this video, we will discover 6 timeless Buddhist lessons that will help you not only accept this truth, but actually find peace, freedom, and even joy in it. And the first lesson begins here. 1. Impermanence is not a threat, it's a promise. When we first hear, "we come with nothing, we leave with nothing," it can sound like a warning, almost like life is playing a cruel joke on us. But Buddhism teaches that impermanence isn't a threat. It's the natural flow of existence. It's the reason rivers keep moving, the reason seasons change, the reason pain doesn't last forever. If everything stayed the same, if nothing ever changed, there would be no growth, no evolution, no possibility. Imagine holding a flower in your hand. The moment you pick it, you know it will wilt. But that doesn't mean it was never worth holding. In fact, it's precious because it won't last. The Buddha taught that suffering comes not from impermanence itself, but from clinging, our desperate wish for things to stay the same. When we understand that the changing nature of life is a promise, that everything will transform, we stop fighting reality. We start riding the current instead of trying to dam the river. And this shift from resistance to acceptance is the first step toward peace. 2. You own nothing, not even yourself. In Buddhist thought, the idea of owning anything, material or even personal, is an illusion. We say, my house, my car, my body, my mind. But each of these is on loan from the universe. The house will one day belong to someone else. The car will rust, the body will age and return to the earth. Even the mind will fade with time. And here's the part that really challenges the ego. The self you think you are isn't fixed or permanent either. Buddhism calls this anatta, or no self. Your personality, your preferences, your memories, they're like waves on the surface of the ocean. They appear, they change, and they dissolve. We cling to these waves, thinking they define us. But when you realize you're not the wave, you're the ocean, you stop fearing the changes. When we understand that we own nothing, we also understand that nothing can truly be taken from us. We become caretakers, not owners, of objects, of relationships, of our own life. And caretakers act with love, without the illusion of permanent possession. 3. Letting go does not mean losing love. Letting go is one of the most misunderstood teachings in Buddhism. Many people hear the phrase and immediately assume it means coldness, detachment, or even not caring. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, letting go does not mean losing love. It means discovering a love that is freer, deeper, and more authentic than the one that comes from clinging. Think of it this way. Imagine holding a butterfly in your hand. If you close your fist tightly, desperate to keep it with you forever, you will crush it. But if you open your hand, the butterfly may stay, or it may fly away. Yet in that moment, when it rests in freedom, it is truly alive, and your experience of it is just as alive. This is the heart of Buddhist non-attachment. Non-attachment is not indifference. It is not turning away from love, nor is it a refusal to care. It's about releasing the illusion that we can freeze time, that we can hold on to people, moments or emotions forever. Because the truth is, everything changes. Everything. In relationships, we often mistake possession for love. We say, "This is my partner, my friend, my family member." And while there's nothing wrong with words of connection, the danger comes when we begin to see people as ours to keep. The reality is, every person you love is their own being, walking their own path. You don't own them, you share time with them. You walk alongside them for however long life allows. Here's where the Buddhist teaching, "We come with nothing, we leave with nothing," becomes transformative. When you accept impermanence, you no longer treat relationships as trophies to lock away or possessions to guard. Instead, you see them for what they truly are: miracles, sacred encounters. Temporary, yes, but beautiful because of that very fact. And here's the paradox. When you stop clinging, when you release the desperate fear of loss, your love actually becomes deeper. It becomes more compassionate. You stop loving with chains and start loving with wings. You are present with people while they are here, instead of being haunted by the thought of when they might leave. True non-attachment allows you to love fully without needing to control the outcome. It's not about detachment from people, it's about detachment from fear. And when fear loosens its grip, love flows freely. So the next time you feel the urge to cling, whether to a relationship, a moment, or even a version of yourself, remember the butterfly. Love is not about holding tightly. Love is about opening your hand, opening your heart, and allowing life to flow as it will. Because letting go is not the end of love. Letting go is the beginning of love in its purest form. 4. Death is not the opposite of life, it's part of life. Death is not the opposite of life, it is an inseparable part of it. From the moment we are born, every breath carries us closer to the inevitable truth that one day we will have to let go of everything we cling to. Our possessions, our achievements, even our own body. For many, this reality sparks fear. The idea of leaving with nothing terrifies us because it confronts our deepest attachment, the desire to hold on forever. But Buddhism offers a different perspective. Instead of treating death as an enemy to fight against, it invites us to see death as a teacher, a guide, and a mirror reflecting the true value of life. Meditating on death may sound grim, but in truth, it brings light. Far from darkening our days, contemplating impermanence has the power to awaken us, to shake us out of distraction, and to remind us of what really matters. The Buddha often encouraged his followers to remember death, not as a morbid obsession, but as a practice of awareness. He taught that forgetting death leads us to waste our days, while remembering it brings clarity, urgency, and gratitude. Think about it. When you deeply realize that your time is limited, you stop postponing your life. You stop waiting for the perfect moment to express your love, to forgive someone, to pursue your passion, or to take that trip you've always dreamed of. Suddenly, every day becomes precious because you know it is not guaranteed. Instead of living on autopilot, you begin to live deliberately. Instead of endlessly chasing things that don't matter, you focus on what truly nourishes your soul. There is a famous Buddhist story that captures this lesson powerfully, the story of Kisagotami and the mustard seed. Kisagotami was a young woman who lost her only child, a little boy. Overcome with grief, she carried her son's lifeless body from house to house, begging for medicine that could bring him back to life. Eventually, someone advised her to go to the Buddha. With hope in her heart, she approached him, pleading for help. The Buddha told her that he could create a cure, but only if she could bring him a handful of mustard seeds from a family that had never experienced death. Desperate, Kisagotami rushed from door to door, asking for mustard seeds. At every house, people were willing to give her seeds, but when she asked if death had ever visited their home, the answer was always the same: yes. A parent, a child, a sibling, a loved one. Every household had been touched by death. Slowly, she realized the painful truth. Death is not unique to her, it is universal. Everyone must face it. Her grief began to transform into wisdom. She returned to the Buddha empty-handed but with new understanding. Death had taught her what life truly is: fragile, fleeting, and shared by all. This story reminds us of what we often forget. We live as though tomorrow is promised, as though loss will never knock on our door. But when we truly realize that death is part of the human experience, we stop postponing our lives. We stop waiting for the perfect time to express love, to forgive, to create, to live as we wish to live. Death, then, is not an ending, but a mirror. It shows us what truly matters: kindness over pride, presence over possessions, love over fear. When we see death clearly, we see life clearly, and in that clarity, we discover freedom. This is why Buddhist monks and practitioners around the world spend time reflecting on impermanence. They know that by making peace with death, they can live fully, without regret. They understand that the only time we ever truly have is now. When tomorrow is not promised, today becomes the most valuable gift. So, rather than running from the thought of death, let it be your companion. Let it remind you to cherish each moment, to let go of grudges, and to live courageously. Every ending is also a beginning, and every breath is a chance to return to what is essential. Death is not the opposite of life. It is part of life, and when we embrace this truth, we no longer fear it. Instead, we allow it to teach us how to live fully, deeply, and with an open heart. 5. Success is not what you take with you, but what you leave behind in others. In today's world, success is often defined by accumulation: more money, more possessions, more recognition. We are told that the bigger the house, the faster the car, and the larger the paycheck, the more successful we are. But here's the truth. If we come into this world with nothing and leave with nothing, then all of those material things are temporary. They cannot follow us beyond this life. So does that mean success is meaningless? Absolutely not. What it means is that the scoreboard is different. True success is not about what you own, but about what you give. It's not about what you keep, but about what you share. This idea isn't new. In Buddhist philosophy and in many spiritual traditions, the measure of a life well lived is not how much wealth you have accumulated, but how much kindness, wisdom, and compassion you have offered to the world. Your legacy is written not in your bank account, but in the hearts of those you've touched. Think about it. Money can disappear. Awards can collect dust. Even fame fades with time. But what never fades is the impact you have on another person's life. The way you helped a friend in need, the smile you gave a stranger who was having a bad day, the encouragement you offered to someone who had lost hope. These small acts of love and generosity create ripples that extend far beyond your lifetime. Your kindness becomes someone else's strength. Your wisdom becomes someone else's guide. Your compassion becomes someone else's comfort. Long after you are gone, the people you inspired will continue to inspire others. The love you shared will continue to multiply in ways you may never even see. That is what real success looks like. It's not a trophy on a shelf. It's not a number in a bank account. It's the living, breathing difference you make in the lives of others. When you understand this, your life stops being a storage unit for achievements and becomes a gift in motion. Every moment becomes an opportunity to create value, to uplift someone else, to plant seeds that will grow long after you are gone. So, the next time you ask yourself, "Am I successful?" Don't measure it by what you've taken. Measure it by what you've given. Ask yourself, who have I helped? Who have I inspired? Who will remember me not for what I had, but for what I gave? Because in the end, success is not about what you take with you. It's about what you leave behind in others. And if you can leave behind love, wisdom, and compassion, then you have achieved the kind of success that lasts forever. 6. The present moment is the only thing you ever truly have. Think about it for a second. When you strip away the past, which is nothing more than memory, and the future, which is nothing more than imagination, you are left with just one undeniable reality: this moment, right now. But here's the challenge. Now is slippery. The instant you try to grab it, it's already gone. The mind races back into memory or leaps forward into worry and planning. That's why so many of us feel restless, distracted, or even empty, because we rarely sit fully inside the only place life is actually happening, the present. Buddhism has been teaching this truth for over 2,500 years. Mindfulness isn't a trend. It isn't about meditation apps or relaxation techniques. It's deeper than that. Mindfulness is a survival skill for the human heart. It's a way to return home to yourself in a world that constantly pulls you away. When you really understand that we come with nothing and we leave with nothing, something changes inside. You begin to see clearly that the present moment is your only true possession. And even then, it's not something you can own. You can't capture it, record it, or hold it in your hands. You can only live it. You can only experience it. This means that every breath you take, every laugh you share, every glance exchanged with someone you love is already whole. It is already complete. Nothing needs to be added. Nothing needs to be improved. The moment itself is enough. In our world, we've been conditioned to constantly save, post, share, and document. But the truth is, life doesn't need proof to be real. The most meaningful experiences don't live in photos or videos. They live inside you, in your awareness, in your direct experience of being here. Here lies the paradox. The more you try to hold on to moments, the more they slip through your fingers. But when you stop grasping, when you stop clinging, when you simply allow yourself to experience, then and only then do you live more fully. Imagine walking through a forest. If you're busy taking pictures of every tree, you miss the scent of pine, the sound of leaves, the texture of bark under your fingers. But if you put the camera down, breathe deeply, and simply walk, the forest itself becomes alive within you. That is the gift of the present. So ask yourself right now, are you really here, or are you lost in yesterday and tomorrow? Your life is not happening in some distant memory, and it's not waiting in some imagined future. It is here, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this unfolding, fleeting, precious moment. And if you can learn to meet life here, fully, openly, without clinging, you will discover the simple truth. The present moment is not just all you have, it is all you need. If you can live with these truths in your heart, the idea that we come with nothing and leave with nothing stops being a cause for fear and becomes the foundation for freedom. Because when you're not clinging to the past or the future, when you're not measuring life by possessions or titles, when you're not pretending that anything lasts forever, you start to see that life itself, the living, breathing flow of moments, is the treasure. The day you were born, the world placed nothing in your hands, but everything in your path. The day you die, the world will take nothing from your hands, but it will carry forward the echoes of how you lived. The question is, what will you plant in the space between those 2 days? The Buddha's answer was simple. Plant seeds of compassion, presence, and wisdom. Live so that when you leave, you've left nothing undone in the work of the heart. And when you truly live this way, leaving with nothing feels less like loss and more like release. If this video spoke to you, don't let the lesson end here. Share it with someone you care about. Leave a comment below with the lesson that resonated most deeply with you. And if you want to keep exploring these timeless teachings, make sure to subscribe to Mindfulness, because together we're uncovering wisdom that changes not just how we think, but how we live. Remember, we come with nothing, we leave with nothing. But in between, we have the chance to give everything.